Good morning, dear students. Today's topic is the exchange of gases. So, exchange of gases generally occurs where? So, generally we see that exchange of gases generally occurs in the at the alveoli. So, we consider that alveoli as the primary sites of exchange of gases. And if we see another one more thing that exchange of gases also occurs at lungs. So, if the exchange of gases occurs at the lungs, we call that one as pulmonary exchange. And exchange of gases at tissues. So if the exchange of gases occurs at the tissues, we call that one as systemic exchange. So what are the factors on which the exchange of gases depends? Let us see. Exchange of gases depends upon the partial pressure of the gas. Okay, partial pressure of the gas, solubility of the gas, thickness of respiratory membrane, a diffusion distance, and surface area of lungs. Let us see what is meant by partial pressure, which gas is more soluble, and what is the thickness of respiratory membrane. Right. So, what is the partial pressure of gas? Partial pressure of gas means in the atmosphere we can see a mixture of gases. So, if we see in the atmosphere, we can see carbon dioxide, we can see oxygen, nitrogen oxides, sulfur dioxides, like that. So, all these gases forms the atmosphere, right? So in the atmosphere, atmospheric pressure means the pressure exerted by all these gases. Okay, each and every gas is having some individual pressure. Okay, all the pressures of all these gases pressure is called as one atmosphere. So one atmosphere equal to 760 mmHg. Right, let us see. So what is meant by partial pressure? Partial pressure means it is the pressure exerted by individual gas in a mixture of gases. Okay, it is the pressure exerted by an individual gas in a mixture of gases is called as partial pressure. Partial pressure of oxygen is represented as PO2. So it is represented as PO2. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide is represented as PCO2. And partial pressure of one atmosphere is 760 millimoles per mercury. So let us see, one atmosphere means 100% equal to 760 mmHg. Then what is the partial pressure of oxygen? So generally we see the percentage of oxygen in atmosphere is 21%. Approximately it is 21%. If 100% equal to 760 mmHg, then 21% equal to how much? So if you calculate, it will get 159 mmHg. So partial pressure of oxygen in atmosphere is 159 millimoles per mercury. Remember that one. Partial pressure of oxygen in the atmosphere is 159 mmHg. So generally we see the second one, solubility. Solubility of oxygen is less and solubility of carbon dioxide is more. Then you remember that carbon dioxide is 20 to 25 times more soluble when compared to the oxygen. Now let us see the respiratory gases and also their partial pressure at different locations. So just now we calculated the partial pressure of oxygen. So this is the PO2, this is the PCO2. So partial pressure of oxygen in atmospheric air is 159 mmHg. And what about it in alveoli? When it reaches to the alveoli of lungs, it is 104, right? Then the partial pressure of oxygen in the oxygenated blood is 95 mmHg. And partial pressure of oxygen in deoxygenated blood is 40 mmHg. And partial pressure of oxygen in tissue says 40 mmHg. Okay, similarly, we see the PCO2 in atmospheric air, it is 0.3%. Okay, 0.3, and alveoli it is 40. In oxygenated blood it is 40, and deoxygenated blood it is 45, and in tissues it is 45 mmHg. Right? Now let's go for the next one. Solubility. Solubility of carbon dioxide is 20 to 25 times greater than oxygen. That means carbon dioxide is more soluble when compared to the oxygen. Suppose in the atmospheric air, the pressure is, if there is a pressure difference, right? If there is a small pressure difference or a single unit pressure difference also, the carbon dioxide diffuses faster when compared to the oxygen. Right, let us see here. Atmospheric carbon dioxide diffuses per unit difference in partial pressure is greater than oxygen. That means per unit pressure difference in the partial pressure comes, then carbon dioxide diffuses fast when compared to the oxygen. Then if you see the diffusion membrane is made up of with three layers. One is the squamous epithelium of the alveoli, basement membrane, and also endothelium. Endothelium is nothing but it is also squamous epithelium of the blood capillaries. So all these three layers together forms diffusion membrane. And if you see the thickness of diffusion membrane, the thickness of diffusion membrane is less than 1 millimeter. Remember, this one is very important question for objective, and this one is very important question. Name the layers in sequence. They'll ask you the question sequence of the diffusion membrane. Remember that epithelial tissue lies on the basement membrane. So this is the epithelial tissue, and this one is the basement membrane. So basement membrane is present both for the squamous epithelium of alveoli and also the endothelium. So here also there is a basement membrane. So in between these, yeah, let us see the next one. Yeah, let us see the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide at different locations. So in the alveoli, the partial pressure of oxygen is 104. So this is the, imagine this one as the alveoli. Okay. In the alveoli, the partial pressure of oxygen is 104 mmHg. At the same time, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 40 mmHg. Okay. Then the partial pressure of oxygen in pulmonary vein is 95 mmHg and carbon dioxide is 40. Similarly, this is the systemic artery because this is the systemic aorta which arises from the left ventricle, and this systemic aorta pumps the only oxygenated blood. So in the systemic aorta gives off systemic arteries. Imagine these are the systemic arteries. In the systemic arteries, the partial pressure of oxygen will be 95. That means there is no change from here onwards. And the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 40. Then the systemic artery, when it comes near to the tissues, this one is a tissue. At tissues, the PO2 is 40 and PCO2 is 45. So as the partial pressure of oxygen is only 40 mmHg and here the partial pressure of oxygen is 95 mmHg, then oxygen diffuses from high partial pressure to low partial pressure. So oxygen diffuses from systemic artery into the tissues. At tissues, the oxygenated blood delivers 5 ml of oxygen. Okay, generally if you see that the blood 100 ml of blood carries 20 ml of oxygen. Okay, 20 ml of oxygen. Out of 20 ml, it is delivering how much? It is really delivering 5 ml. So how much is left in the so 5 ml it is delivered. Now from here, the carbon dioxide is having partial pressure of 45 mmHg, and once it enters into the from artery, here the blood is collected by the veins. In the veins, systemic vein, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 45 and the partial pressure of oxygen is 40. So from here, here the carbon dioxide diffuses into the systemic vein. So when the carbon dioxide diffuses into systemic vein, we call this blood in the systemic vein as deoxygenated blood. So in the deoxygenated blood, partial pressure of oxygen is 40 and partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 45. So imagine that deoxygenated blood is also contains oxygen is present in this blood vessel also. So the deoxygenated blood also carries the oxygen. Then how much oxygen is present in the deoxygenated blood means 100 ml of deoxygenated blood consists of 15 ml of oxygen because already 5 ml was given here. So remaining when it is collected by the veins, it becomes deoxygenated blood due to entry of carbon dioxide. So how much oxygen is present in deoxygenated blood means 15 ml. Now let us see the types of exchange. Pulmonary exchange. So pulmonary exchange occurs between the alveolar air and pulmonary capillaries. So this is the alveolar air and here the pulmonary capillaries. From alveoli, oxygen diffuses into the pulmonary vein, and from pulmonary artery, carbon dioxide diffuses into the alveoli. Let us see that mechanism also now. So from alveolar air, the partial pressure of oxygen in alveolar air is 104 millimoles per mercury. From alveolar air, oxygen diffuses into the pulmonary capillaries. So in pulmonary capillaries, partial pressure of oxygen is 40 mmHg. Similarly, from pulmonary capillaries, carbon dioxide diffuses into the alveoli. So what is the partial pressure of difference? Partial pressure difference of oxygen in the pulmonary capillaries and alveolar air means 104 minus 40, that equal to 64 mmHg. This is one question. What is the partial pressure difference of oxygen between alveolar air and pulmonary capillaries means 104 minus 40, that equal to 64 mmHg. Similarly, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in pulmonary capillaries is 45, but at alveoli it is 40. So from capillaries, carbon dioxide diffuses into the alveoli. What is the partial pressure difference between the pulmonary capillaries and alveoli of carbon dioxide means it comes around 5 mmHg, because 45 minus 40 equal to 5 mmHg. Now let us see systemic exchange. Systemic exchange occurs between systemic capillaries and tissues. So systemic capillaries, the partial pressure of oxygen is 95 mmHg, and oxygen diffuses into tissues where the partial pressure of oxygen is 40 mmHg. So the partial pressure difference is 55 mm. Again, from the tissues, the carbon dioxide diffuses into the systemic capillaries. Okay, so the PCO2 at tissues is 45 and PCO2 at systemic capillaries is 40, and the partial pressure difference will be 5 mmHg. Right? So that completes about that one. Now let us go for the transport of gases. So transport of gases, if you see, blood is the medium of transport, both for the carbon dioxide and oxygen. Okay. So in human body, the blood is transported by, in the human body, the gases are transported by blood. Let us see the first one, transport of oxygen. So oxygen is transported from where to where? Oxygen is transported from lungs to tissues. By what? Oxygen is transported by blood. So in the blood, we know that the blood is composed of two components. One is the plasma, one is the formed elements. Formed elements means you know that it includes RBC, WBC, everything. So how much of oxygen is transported by plasma? By plasma, 3% of oxygen is transported in a dissolved state. Only 3%. This is one question. By RBC, how much? By RBC, it is around 97% of oxygen is transported by RBC. And remember that the RBC consists of a respiratory pigment called as hemoglobin. So this hemoglobin transports the oxygen. So what is hemoglobin? Hemoglobin is a respiratory pigment. It is red in color. So we call that one a red color respiratory pigment. Okay. And hemoglobin is a conjugated protein. That means it consists of heme, a non-protein, and a globin part called as protein. Okay. So hemoglobin is a tetramer. That means it is made up of with 4 polypeptide chains. Right. So how many polypeptide chains are there? There are 4 polypeptide chains. What are those 4 polypeptide chains? Means there are 2 alpha polypeptides and there are 2 beta polypeptides. So alpha peptide chains and beta peptide chains are present in the hemoglobin. Then if you see, each polypeptide contains one heme. That means it consists of one ferrous ion. So one heme can carry only one oxygen molecule. So how many polypeptides are there in the hemoglobin? Means 4. If there are 4 polypeptides, then how many hemes are present? 4. Then if each hemoglobin can carry one heme can carry one oxygen molecule, then 4 hemes can carry how many oxygen molecules? Means 4. So as a result, one hemoglobin molecule can consist of 4 ferrous ions, and one hemoglobin can carry 4 oxygen molecules. Right? So where oxygen combines with hemoglobin to form oxyhemoglobin, that condition is called as oxygenation. This is one of the important questions. Okay, where the oxygenation occurs? Oxygenation occurs at the lungs. So generally the oxygen content will be more in the lungs. So oxygenation occurs at the lungs. Then dissociation of oxygen from oxyhemoglobin occurs at tissues. Why? At the tissues, the oxygen content will be less. The partial pressure of oxygen will be less in the tissues. Okay. Then how much hemoglobin is present in our body? Amount of hemoglobin is 12 to 16 grams per 100 ml. Average it be 15 grams per 100 ml of blood. So 100 ml of blood consists of 15 grams of hemoglobin. Then if you see 1 gram of hemoglobin contains 1.34 ml of oxygen. Okay, 1.34 ml of oxygen. But 15 grams of hemoglobin contains how much of oxygen means 1.34 into 15, that equal to 20 ml approximately, 20.1 like that it will come. But the standard value is 19.4 ml they use. Why they are using 19.4 ml means every hemoglobin molecule does not carry 4 oxygen molecules. Remember that. Some hemoglobin molecules carry 3. Sometimes they may carry 3, sometimes they may carry 2. Like that also will happen. So they calculated to that one as 1.3 ml of 1.19.4 ml of oxygen. So 100 ml of blood carries 19.4 ml of oxygen. Why 100 ml of blood is carrying 19.4 ml of oxygen means in this 100 ml of blood, the hemoglobin molecules which are present will not carry 4 oxygen molecules all the times. Few will carry 3 also. Majority will carry 4, but some of the hemoglobin molecules also will carry 3. That's the reason why it is 19.4 ml. Right? Then 100 ml of blood can deliver 5 ml of oxygen to tissues. Then when 5 ml of oxygen was given to the tissues, then how much oxygen is present in the blood? So 100 ml of deoxygenated blood contains how much of oxygen means 19.4 minus 5 ml, that equal to 14.4 ml of oxygen. So this completes transport of oxygen. In the next class we will go for the oxygen dissociation curve and also transport of carbon dioxide and disorders of the respiratory system. In one class I will complete all these topics, so that after completion of breathing and exchange of gases I will conduct an objective examination. Right? Thank you dear students, have a nice day. And also one more thing is that there are 2 pending topics in the PU2, that one also I will complete fast. Okay, thank you very much.